Chapter 4. The long-awaited day of the big football match had finally arrived. The sun shone high in the sky, bathing the field in light and warmth. Despite the accumulated fatigue after playing a handball match that same morning, Léon stood ready to lead his team to victory. He knew this match was not simply a competition, but another trial orchestrated by Minister Francis Pardon. Damien, claiming a particularly painful injury, had spent the previous week resting, while Léon trained relentlessly, despite the exhaustion, in the various sports imposed by the minister. Pardon hoped to prove that only the privileged could truly excel in this demanding school by forcing Léon to play 2 consecutive matches in one day. However, Léon was not alone. For the first time, he would be playing alongside Élodie, Paul, and Léa, a team whose originality and synergy promised to surprise everyone. Their intense training and camaraderie had forged an unbreakable cohesion. The stands were filled with students and teachers, all eager to witness this unique match. Albert Dubois, the headmaster, observed silently from his seat, a glint of challenge in his eyes. He knew this match would be decisive, not only for the students on the field, but also for the future values of the school. The whistle blew, and the match began. From the first minutes, Damien showed his selfish and tyrannical character, demanding the ball at every opportunity and focusing on his own glory. He shouted at his teammates, accusing them of not passing the ball to him enough. "Give me that!" Damien yelled at one of his teammates, almost snatching the ball from his feet. "I'm the striker here." Meanwhile, Léon led his team with calm and intelligence. He used his vision of the game to orchestrate precise and strategic passes. Paul, with his brute strength, effectively protected the ball and created openings in the opposing defense. Élodie, quick and agile, weaved skillfully between the opposing players, creating opportunities. Léa, inspired by Léon's determination, played with remarkable intensity. In the 15th minute, Léon made a long, precise pass to Paul, who, using his strength, managed to dribble past 2 defenders before striking the ball with force. The ball soared and slammed into the net with impressive power, triggering a wave of cheers and applause from the stands. "Paul, you're incredible," exclaimed Léon, running towards his friend for a celebratory hug. But Damien, furious to see Léon's team score, intensified his efforts to dominate the match. He continued to demand the ball, ignoring his teammates' calls and attempting imprecise and poorly coordinated shots. His selfish actions created openings for Léon's team. Seeing an opportunity, Léa seized the ball and headed towards the opposing goal. Damien, in a desperate attempt to catch her, committed a blatant foul, earning him a yellow card. Despite the pain, Léa got up and continued to play with the same intensity. A few minutes before halftime, Léon orchestrated another attack. He made a subtle pass to Élodie, who sprinted towards the goal. Just before shooting, she feinted to destabilize the goalkeeper and passed the ball to Léa, who struck with precision. The ball flew into the net, adding a second goal to the team's score. "Great teamwork," shouted Léon, running to congratulate Élodie and Léa. Élodie responded, her eyes shining with enthusiasm. "We make an unbeatable team, Léon." At the resumption, Damien's team seemed more disorganized than ever. Their passing and shooting attempts regularly failed, and their frustration was palpable. Damien continued to play selfishly, ignoring his teammates' calls, who themselves were racking up yellow cards for blatant fouls. Léon, on the other hand, remained focused and strategic. He saw a new opportunity when he noticed that Damien was too advanced, leaving a gaping space in their defense. With astonishing speed, he passed to Paul, who used his strength to break through the defense and shoot. The ball headed towards the corner of the goal, and the goalkeeper, despite his efforts, couldn't stop it. The final whistle blew, marking the resounding victory of Léon's team. The spectators erupted in applause, recognizing not only the victory, but also the team's spirit and resilience that led to this triumph. Léon, Élodie, Paul, and Léa gathered in the center of the field, arms around each other's shoulders, savoring their victory. Damien, on the other hand, left the field in silence, his face dark. This match was more than just a sporting victory. The end of the year approached for the students of Palmaru, and a palpable fatigue could be seen on the faces of all the students. Léon, Élodie, Paul, and Léa, exhausted but resolute, felt the weight of this unique year, marked by the controversial rule imposed by Minister Francis Pardon. Even Damien Malesherbes, usually so arrogant, seemed worn out by the incessant confrontation that had kept them away from their sports specializations. On the last day of class, the students gathered in the large amphitheater for the end-of-year summary. Francis Pardon stepped onto the stage, a satisfied smile on his lips. He was about to give a self-praising summary while implicitly criticizing our heroes for their supposedly non-academic stratagems. "Ladies and gentlemen," began Pardon in a loud, clear voice, "this year has been marked by unprecedented challenges. We introduced a new rule aimed at diversifying the skills of our young athletes. Despite some resistance, I am proud to say that this initiative has been a success." Skeptical murmurs spread through the amphitheater. Léon exchanged a worried look with his friends. They knew that Pardon was manipulating the facts to his advantage. "However," Pardon continued, "some students have sought ways to circumvent these new requirements by feigning injuries rather than adapting to the challenges posed." At that moment, Stéphane Roux, a professor respected for his integrity, slowly stood up. "Mr. Minister, if I may, I must disagree with your assessment." His voice, though calm, carried undeniable authority. Pardon, surprised, turned to Professor Roux. "Ah, Professor, always quick to defend the indefensible, aren't you?" Unintimidated, Roux replied, "You spoke of non-academic stratagems. Allow me to remind this assembly that Mr. Malesherbes suffered a particularly intense injury, depriving him of more than a week of training. Isn't that right, Mr. Malesherbes?" Damien, usually so confident, lowered his eyes, unable to meet Roux's accusatory gaze. He muttered a nearly inaudible, "Yes." Suddenly, Léon stood up, followed by Élodie, Paul, and Léa. One by one, the other students also stood in support of Professor Roux. Even Damien eventually stood. "We have faced the challenges you imposed on us," said Léon in a clear voice. "But we have also proven that we are stronger by working together, respecting our specialties, and supporting our comrades." Pardon, visibly unsettled by this demonstration of unity, struggled to find his words. "That does not change the fact that this rule was intended to divide and exhaust us," interrupted Élodie. "But look at us, Mr. Minister. We are more united than ever." Faced with this unanimous resistance, Pardon realized he had lost. The collective strength of the students, supported by Stéphane Roux's strategic intervention, was too powerful to ignore. After a few moments of silence, he cleared his throat and made an announcement that surprised everyone. "Very well," he said with a hint of bitterness. "This rule is hereby abolished. Starting next year, students will be able to focus on their sports specialization while having the option to explore other disciplines voluntarily." A thunderous applause erupted in the amphitheater. The students congratulated each other, and Léon felt a tremendous weight lift off his shoulders. They had succeeded. After the meeting, Damien approached Léon, an unreadable expression on his face. "Don't think this changes anything between us, Renart. I will become the greatest champion of this school, and you will remain in your footballer's niche." Léon, despite the palpable tension, smiled slightly. "We'll see, Damien." Damien grunted and then turned away. Léon watched him leave, knowing their rivalry wouldn't disappear easily, but also sensing that something had changed. Back in the common room, Léon, Élodie, Paul, and Léa gathered around a table, reminiscing about the craziest moments of the year. They laughed as they recalled Paul's clumsy attempts at tennis, Élodie's falls in judo, and Léa's determination against Damien. "I don't think we'll ever forget this year," said Léa, smiling. Élodie nodded. "We've learned so much, not just about sports, but about ourselves and our friendship." Paul raised his fruit juice in a toast. "To our team, no matter what next year brings, we are ready." Léon smiled, raising his own glass. "To our team, and to well-deserved holidays." They clinked glasses. The year had been grueling, but it had also strengthened their friendship and resilience. And so, in the warmth of that ending summer day, Léon, Élodie, Paul, and Léa wished each other a good vacation, ready to face new challenges together, confident that their friendship would always lead them to victory.